What is your relationship like now with Justin?
I support him. I think I always will. I'm upset when he's upset. I don't want anything ever to happen to him bad.
Justin Bieber dropped an entire album the night before Selena Gomez released hers, and a lot of people don't believe it happened by accident. This isn't just some wild theory. Many fans are convinced he did it on purpose. It's now 2025, and the internet is in chaos over drama that seems like it's been waiting to boil over. Without any kind of warning, a brand new Bieber album suddenly showed up, no promo. No heads up, just pure feelings and pain.
A lot of my inspiration comes from her relationship that created heartbreak. I wanted to write about it. So
And that's on this album.
Yeah, there's a lot of that on this album.
The timing felt almost planned. The lyrics hit close to home, and online reactions quickly turned into chaos. The album, supposedly titled Paris, quietly appeared on Spotify in a few countries without any kind of build-up. There was no official word. No preview, just a sudden release, like it was meant to slip in unnoticed. But the vocals were unmistakably his. The lyrics were raw, and even the song titles carried heavy emotion. One track was Unfinished Portrait, another Her Shadow. Lives here, but the one that had everyone talking, she left. I stayed.
When you write music, what inspires you the most? What inspires me the most when I write music? Probably my ex-girlfriend.
Now seriously, just think about it. What are the odds that an entire Justin Bieber album just happens to leak the day before Selena Gomez releases what many are calling her most personal work yet? And how is it possible that this leak happened right when Selena's fans were everywhere on TikTok, sharing emotional clips, celebrating her journey, and quoting her heartfelt words? There's blessing in the breaking. There's no perfect way to heal. She once said done. Then right as she's embracing vulnerability and growth, this drops. Naturally, the internet did what it always does. People started throwing out every theory you can imagine. Was this really an accidental leak? Or was there something more behind it? A quiet message, a subtle jab, a moment of reflection? Or maybe it was Justin's unspoken way of admitting he's still stuck in the past. Within no time, TikTok turned into a hub of fan theories, video breakdowns, and dramatic edits. Every lyric, every breath, even the sound design got picked apart. It became less about enjoying the songs and more about figuring out the real meaning behind them. Soon enough, Justin leaked on Selena began trending on iBoom X. People went straight into digging, replaying old interviews, scrolling through old lives, even pulling up fuzzy paparazzi videos from years ago. But the big question wasn't just about whether Justin did it on purpose, it was why he chose to do it now. And then, out of nowhere, Benny Blanco's name got thrown into the mess. Benny, Selena's current boyfriend, a close friend for years, and a well-respected producer, suddenly became a hot topic. He didn't post anything, he didn't comment or even react online. And for fans, that silence spoke volumes. Why wasn't he saying anything? Was he caught off guard? Or was he already aware of what was coming? Then things got even messier. Someone noticed a sound in one of Justin's tracks that was almost the same as something Benny had produced in the past. A familiar vocal loop. So was it just a random match? Or was it a targeted move, one meant to hit a nerve? By the end of the day, TikTok wasn't just buzzing, it was burning. Clips of Justin crying on stage from past performances started popping up next to Selena's voiceovers. Fans started creating timelines, stacking up theories, and linking old moments faster than anyone could process. And even though she hadn't posted or said anything, Hailey Bieber was pulled right back into the storm. She didn't show up online, didn't like or comment on anything, but somehow she was trending in a story this tangled. Being quiet isn't seen as staying out of hits, viewed as suspicious. In today's online world, silence is never just silence. It always means something. People started repeating what's been whispered for a long time. Hailey wasn't the muse, she was the backup, the one Justin ended up with because he couldn't be with the girl he truly wanted. Suddenly, Hailey wasn't. Just part of the narrative, she became the target. Not because of anything recent, but because people believed she symbolized the end of Jelena, the final break. Within hours, the internet was filled with edits, opinion, videos, and blame. Whether it was fair or not, didn't matter. Hailey was now part of a story that was never really hers to begin with, but at the heart of it all. This wasn't only about music or three celebrities in a complicated situation. It was about the public, about how we turned their real lives into a story we refused to let go of. We turned Justin and Selena into roles. Her as the sweet, broken-hearted girl, him as the confused, emotional boy who just couldn't let her go. Their love wasn't just theirs anymore, it became something. Fans held on to it, a story of love, pain, growth, and loss. When Selena cried in interviews, people felt her sadness. When Justin made mistakes, fans took it as proof he missed her. And when they got back together in 2017, everyone believed this was their big chance. That finally, they'd get it right, but they didn't. By March 2018, it ended. And just 4 months later, Justin asked Hailey to marry him.
It's a little tincture potion that I got. I would say probably when I was around 12, my dad flew me to go meet with this witch who lived in the mountains, and she made this specifically for me. She told me that it would make a young Canadian pop star fall in love.
That's when the internet fully took control of the narrative. Fans didn't just respond, they rewrote the past. Justin, Selena, and Hailey's history turned into a web of speculation. People started calling Hailey the rebound. Justin's marriage was described as something rushed, a decision made too quickly. Suddenly, every old interview, each emotional song, even the smallest look on Justin's face became a clue. Used to argue that he never let go of Selena, that Jelena was never really over. So when this mysterious album showed up, filled with emotional lyrics and vulnerable energy, fans didn't just listen, they felt like they finally got the answer they were waiting for. To some, this wasn't just music, it was proof. A sign that all those years of believing in that love story meant something. That their emotional investment, their heartbreak by association, was valid. That maybe, deep down, Justin still cared. But, in the middle of all this noise, what happened to Hailey? The woman who's been by Justin's side during hospital stays, mental health struggles, and canceled tours suddenly got pushed to the background, or worse, made into the villain. Online, she became a meme, a name in tweets, a target for comparison, threads, not because of something she did, but because people decided she stood in the way. Not a partner, but a barrier in a romance she never asked to be part of. And the part no one wants to admit. The album might not even be real, but that's not the point anymore. It was never just about fact. SIT was about emotion, about the stories we've built in our minds, the pain we've projected onto their lives. People aren't crying for Justin's heartbreak, they're feeling their own. It's not about Selena's lyrics, it's about the listeners seeing their pain reflected back at them. Selena isn't stuck in the past. She's making music that reflects her journey and growth. Justin's not trying to send hidden messages. Through leaked songs, he's living his life dealing with adulthood, maybe even preparing for fatherhood or just searching for peace. And Hailey, she's trying to exist outside the constant spotlight, outside the nonstop judgment, in a life she didn't steal, just stepped into, after another chapter ended. But with the viewers, we keep dragging it all out. We keep the story alive, like we're waiting for one final twist. Because to us, it still feels unfinished. And that feeling, that's not on them, that's on us. The real question isn't whether Justin leaked that album on purpose. It's why we're still clinging to the idea that he did. Why do we need Selena to be sad just so we feel like someone understands us? Why keep pushing the idea that Hailey doesn't belong just to pretend the old story is still the only one that mattered? Why are we still replaying moments from a love story that ended a long time ago? The truth is, we turned their relationship into something more than it ever was to them because it gave us something to hold on to. We used their real-life emotions to avoid dealing with our own. Their heartbreak distracted us from ours. Their drama filled the silence in our lives. We held on to Jelena because it reminded us of passionate, messy, unforgettable love. The kind we thought was the most real, but actual love. It's usually quiet. It's steady. It doesn't always get posted online or turned into a TikTok trend. And that kind of love rarely gets the attention it deserves. Maybe the real strength now is in letting go. In no longer waiting for hidden messages or surprise reunions. In understanding that none of them owe us any kind of ending. Because this wasn't our story to finish in the first place. Maybe it's time to stop rewriting someone else's past and focus on creating our own future. One where healing happens in peace, where growth doesn't need to be seen to be real, where we stop expecting strangers to reflect our pain just to make us feel whole. So if you're still watching, still scrolling, still revisiting those old clips, ask yourself, what are you really searching for? Because Jelena isn't coming back. And maybe it's better that way. If you made it this far, don't forget to hit subscribe, drop a like, and turn on notifications so you're always in the loop.